Some people are afraid to access the dark web, but most don't even know how to. I'm way too accustomed to exploring the ins and outs of the dark web and the scenes in its darkest corners. At that time, I was sitting in my home office, feeling bored and lonely. When you have no one to share with, having a 2-story house with 4 bedrooms and a huge backyard only makes you feel more bored. So, I want to get a dog. I'll search and input dog, yet it picked out an ad. I pushed in a purebred southern wolfhound for $500 delivered to your door. There's also a picture of a very cute little black dog. I've never heard of a wolfhound before. It doesn't look like any dog I've seen before. However, I didn't know much about dogs in the first place. I'm not the kind of person who likes to jump around, so I entered my credit card information and hit the purchase button. A few days later, a delivery man with wide eyes and a tense expression knocked on my door with a huge dog crate at his feet. Inside it was pitch black. I couldn't see a thing. She handed me a writing board with trembling hands. I signed it and then carried the heavy box into the house. I thought to myself, this dog is very lively. When I picked up the box, it moved uneasily inside, feeling more like a python than a puppy. Its weight doesn't seem to match what I saw in the photos. I briefly doubted that the wrong goods had been delivered, almost ran back to chase the delivery guy. But when I opened the box, there it was. A cute little black dog hesitantly came over and then ran towards me. The little guy started licking my face, and I laughed and fell back on the ground. My fear was immediately dispelled. I let it drift onto me after we finished rolling around on the floor. In a moment, a smile spread across my face. When I was playing with this puppy, I felt genuinely happy. I took the puppy for a spin around the house. First, I took him to my bedroom and office upstairs. She showed off in the guest room and another room for staff. I showed her the basement and the small bed I bought for her, but she doesn't seem particularly interested. The weirdest thing about this puppy is its weight. It's a strong little guy. When I tried to pick it up, it felt really heavy, which doesn't make sense. The more I thought about it, the more I felt something was off. I tried not to think too much and decided to take my new puppy for a walk in the park. I tried to put on the new leash I bought recently, but it always seems not right, as if the collar is too small for him. But that's not the case. This is very clear to me. When I fought with the dog, I saw 2 scenes in a blink of an eye, which made me even more confused. In one reality, I can see my little dog, and in another scene, it's like a piece of donkey herd in a shattered mirror. There's a huge hound on top that looks like a wolf. Some of its fur is missing, bones and exposed muscles. Between my buttocks and ribcage, the ancient beast, with its unspoken face full of sharp teeth, was growling at me. Her wise and sophisticated eyes, milky white due to cataracts, seemed to see through my soul. This hound is covered in dirt and blood, as if it had been digging something in the graveyard. Soon, we were heading down the street towards the park, but I realized I didn't remember leaving home. This puppy is sick again, and the normal dog bell is not tied up, but he seems to be doing pretty well. She has always been by my side. She responded quickly when I called her. Even though she was young, she seemed well trained. So I decided to continue forward and walk to the park with him. It was a Tuesday afternoon. It was quiet outside. I didn't see it before I got to the park. Once I get to the park, I see a few more people walking their dogs on the wide open space. It was a vast meadow. People often ignore the official rules and let their dogs out, so I don't feel as uncomfortable as when I walk on the street when the puppies are roaming freely there. At first, no one noticed us, but gradually, other matters. One by one, they smelled the scent of my puppy. They pricked up their ears, staring at us motionless, as if scared. My puppy started running towards them. I saw the dog owner's stunned face, their mouths opened, not knowing why they suddenly seemed so afraid. He's just a puppy. Then they started to turn and run. As I chased the little guy, I wondered, what were they afraid of? Just then, it happened again. A small part of my memory disappeared. A second ago, I was chasing the dog in the park. The dog was so scared that it couldn't run. We returned home, as though the last memory of my life I had lost. It seems like just a second ago, we were in the park. My little dog ran away from me. I feel he is well worth it. Now, we've returned to my living room, watching TV. I took out my cell phone to check the time. It's 4:30 in the afternoon. Already over 2 hours have passed. I looked down and saw the puppy sleeping soundly at my feet. What happened, buddy? I asked the dog as if it could respond. It continued to snore. There's blood on his claws and face, and I felt a fear I've never felt before. I tried hard to recall what happened, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't remember anything. This has never happened before. I really fear. I wish my memory could come back, but things don't always go as hoped. Worse yet, this happened again and again in the following weeks. After I left home with my dog, my life seemed to vanish into thin air. Time disappears. I walk out of the house, only to find myself back home in an instant. A few hours of my life disappeared. The duration of this blank time is getting longer. 4 weeks later, I lost 8 hours of my life, not remembering any of it. It seems to be this way every time I leave home, so I go out less and less. I hide at home, never leave. I will order takeout and become a hermit. However, the puppy seems quite satisfied. Its growth rate is rapid. Even though we're always together, I can still notice its changes. It seems to have grown several inches overnight. I can see it growing larger every morning. Looking at this dog, all my worries about the missing pieces of my life disappeared. Only this puppy mattered. When I hold her, I feel her warmth and the way she looks at me. It seems like I'm the only thing he cares about. Eventually, my friends started to worry about me. My old friend Tom called, saying he hadn't seen me for a while.
Come to me.
I told
Don't
them
be afraid,
I
I'm
just
fine.
didn't want to go out because I got a new puppy. I never thought about telling her the truth, but perhaps I should tell her. I can only prevent what's about to happen next. I didn't invite Tom over. He just came over one night, a couple of days after our phone call. Our relationship is very good. He didn't wait for my response after knocking on the door and came straight in to find us. The dog we had at the time had grown quite large. When Tom came in, he stood up quietly. This hunting dog immediately ran to the front door. My old friend, you were only halfway through your greeting when you began to scream in fear. The world split again. I saw two versions of my dog. One is the cute little guy I know and love. The other is my dog. This is the hellhound I saw rotting in the cemetery before. It's big and dirty, missing a few chunks of flesh and fur, and very aggressive. Tom didn't have time to run away. My dog caught up with him. That hellhound caught him and jumped on Tom, knocking him down. Quickly, he clamped his claws onto Tom's neck, tearing at the flesh on his face, while Tom screamed and crawled towards the door, trying to escape. I ran over, yanked the dog off my old friend, reached out to grab it, wanting to stop them. He tears the chicken off the bone, digs out Tom's eyes with his teeth, and then bites me. The teeth at the bottom of the pig scraped over my fingers. I looked down in horror, seeing my own shiny white oranges. I dodged him and ran away screaming. When I went upstairs, Tom was already dead. The evil wolf's den tore her throat, and her screams abruptly stopped. I closed the office door behind me with a bump, and then locked it. I returned to my office, where it all began. I was afraid to step out of that door. Now that hellhound has tasted the flavor of my flesh. I suspect he couldn't resist the temptation. I can hear him sniffing and scratching outside. After seeing my best old friend, he's hungry again. Apart from waiting for my inevitable death, I don't have much to do, so I decided to visit the dark web again. Through a series of backdoors, I returned to that hidden website and clicked on the secret picture hidden in the bizarre URL. As soon as I entered, I input dog in the search bar again. The same advertisement popped up, selling identical purebred Southern Wolfhound puppies for $500, delivery included. This time, I decided to send a message directly to a buyer, a person called Wolfman. I bought one of your dogs. It just killed my friend, and I'm pretty sure it's gnawing at my memory. The creature you bought is not a dog, but a kind of undead, that survives on flesh, somewhat like a werewolf zombie. Sounds more like a zombie version of a werewolf. Can I return it? No, the goods have been handed over and returns are not accepted. And then the werewolf left the chat. After speaking, he disappeared into a network top again. Only I and the beast remain. She's scratching at my door, trying to get in. I believe she'll be in soon, and I don't know what she'll do after she comes in. But I have a great idea.